do you say, everybody? Welcome to Elephant in the Room, part of Roll Tide Pods, the next round. Guys, shout out to you up in Birmingham, part of Disrupt the Media, and we're really glad to talk Alabama football with you again today. Alabama and Kentucky coming up on Saturday at 11 a.m. So Jay Coker and I are going to get into that. But before we do, I want to remind you of a couple of things. First, we're brought to you by MyBookie and mybookie.ag. Now's the time, and we're going to talk about our picks on the show. To get your picks in and try to make some cash off of those picks, you can do that at mybookie.ag. And right now is, when you go to mybookie.ag, use the discount code NEXTROUND. And when you do that, 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. So that makes it worth the while.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
A guy like you that's as hot as you are in your office pool, think about all the money you'd make. Jake was just telling me he's been on fire, which does not surprise me. You've had one of those years.
I've been trying to hold this back just because I know as soon as I as soon as I mention how good I'm doing, things usually crash and burn.
Yeah, it's true.
So. Yep. I'm on a 38-12 record against the spread in this office pool, and about to go over these picks to see if you can't help me out.
All right. Well, so you guys know what that means. He considers me the opposite of Lance's Lock. And what I want to say, too, is check out Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. When you're making picks in your office pool and you need a little bit of help, lanceslock.com. All right, let's do this. I guess before we even start talking Alabama and Kentucky right out of the chute, go ahead and fire away.
All right, Michigan, Penn State.
Okay, Michigan, Penn State. All right, here's how this one's going to break down. What's the spread? It's like 4.5 or something.
4.5.
Yeah. Penn State never wins this game ever, and I love their coach, James Franklin. He was at Vanderbilt, and he took over a Penn State program and kind of got it back to. It's like a Mark Richt.
I was about, yeah.
It's exactly
pretty
the
good
same.
going 10-2.
Yeah, right. But they don't win the big games to get over the hump.
Ohio State, that was
no. They get dominated, at the line of scrimmage. It's close at the end, but they lose. It's close at the end, and they lose.
Win a Rose Bowl against a team that was supposed to be in the Natty and plays,
That's right.
Like they don't want to be there.
Yep. So I'm going with, despite everything surrounding Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, give me Michigan, and I'll give up the 4.5. I do like a home dog, but not this week.
I've got to make my choice pretty quick, but that right there is kind of, 4.5 to me. I would, just take Michigan all day. That makes no sense. So I think I'm going to have to go to Penn State here, and I think you proved that narrative to me.
I'm glad to do that.
Yeah. And I will say, Washington, USC last week, when I first saw the line, I was like, oh, USC for sure.
Then you heard me.
I had a buddy of mine who was like, okay, USC at home, everybody's going to be all over USC because it's USC
right
at home with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it. I was like, he might be right. And then when you told me, you're like, oh, they're showing up this weekend.
They were showing up.
I was like, all right, I'm in a
Damn it, I'm sure about this one. At the house. There's no damn way they're losing 3 games in one season. It's never happened. Riley's never done that. Caleb Williams, the best quarterback in the country. This is the turnaround week.
What did you say? Or Ryan said, but they don't have any defense, but they will this week.
Yeah, and somebody right now is living out of their car. I listened to what Mick said, and now look at me.
Somebody just lost their Iron Bowl ticket.
Lost their ass. All right. So that's one. All right, go give me the second one.
All right.
Do you mind if I don't want to be rude, but can I pour a beer?
Oh yeah.
All right, just kidding. I know.
All right, Utah, Washington. Here, I'll give you my initial thoughts. Utah, after losing to Oregon in the fashion that they did, Utah is a good team. I think they're playing at Washington, which sometimes I think playing away can kind of help, usually for the favorite. But I think everybody's going to be all Washington this week, singing their praises, coming off the USC win. Utah proving that, they can't hang with the big dogs against Oregon. I think they come into Washington and cover the 9.5-point spread.
Worst foam. Still haven't mastered the Blue Moon foam yet.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this though. They taste delicious, but the foam's crazy. All right, so we're looking at Utah going to Washington. Michael Penix Jr. is taking his team, and he's got to figure out a way to get the job done and keep them going. Utah got beat up by Oregon, which I didn't see coming. It's a 9.5-point spread, right? Is that where you got it? 9.5?
Yep.
This was a tough one. I'm taking Utah, given and the points. I think that, they might lose.
I think I'm going on the same side with you on this one.
Yeah. Just feel like the points. That's a lot of points. They're a solid football team.
What is Utah ranked now?
At the bottom somewhere, like
25.
Yeah, somewhere, if they're even ranked. I'll look it up. But I feel like they're all right.
I still think Utah is good, even after the Oregon shellacking.
Yeah, but they're not the worst or anything. They just got beaten up pretty good.
Team,
well, you know what? No, they're ranked 13th in the AP, and they're ranked 18th in the college football playoff rankings, and they're ranked 14th in the coaches poll. So I think a little bit higher than I thought. I just feel like Washington's due for a loss. Not everyone's not going to keep winning week to week.
Yeah,
and so I wouldn't be surprised.
For Utah as well. Obviously.
Yeah, right. Maybe your heart's in it a little bit.
Yeah. All right, next one: Tennessee, Missouri.
This one's been tough because I pay attention to Tennessee. It's one of the teams I watch a lot, and I feel like they're just so hard to predict because
you don't know how Joe Milton's going to play.
You don't know what Joe Milton you're going to get. Their defense is better, but it's like playing two halves of football the way they played against Florida. And then honestly, like I thought, my advice last week was we were going to see finally the real Missouri. And then they went in and played their asses off, So they're better than I thought. And it's in Missouri. And then they've also played Tennessee tough over the years. So I think Missouri's just going to win this football game. It's a 1-point spread, right?
Yeah. Tennessee favored by 1.
Yeah. Tennessee favored by 1, which means Missouri's probably going to beat them by like 9.
What's Missouri ranked and what's Tennessee ranked?
Missouri.
And the only reason I ask is just I'm wondering what the public's going to be thinking.
Okay. Tennessee in the college football playoff rankings is 13. Missouri's 14.
Huh.
In the AP poll, Tennessee's 14, Missouri 16. In the coaches poll, Tennessee 12 and Missouri 15. Coaches have a lot more respect for the SEC.
How many losses does Missouri have?
They have 2.
Okay.
They lost to Georgia and LSU.
That's right. Yeah, what's funny about that coaches poll and when I was at Alabama with all these coaches that had been from, in different conferences and, seen players in different geographical areas in college football, they all say the same thing. It's incredible the amount of talent, even on the bad teams in the SEC.
Yeah.
That you would consider, Arkansas, Missouri, not necessarily Missouri this year, but you know what I mean? The historical schools that aren't that great. You've still got draft picks all over the field. And when they show up, they can play with anybody. It just depends on if the right team shows up that Saturday.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's kind of what scares me about Alabama's game coming up this weekend against Kentucky that we're going to talk about here. All right, so hit me with the next one. What's next?
Ole Miss, Georgia. Here we go.
Yeah, well, I know.
Is this game day?
I don't know about that, but I can tell you that Georgia is either number 1 were number 2. They're number 2 in the college football playoff. Ole Miss has moved up. Their only loss came to Alabama.
Like 8 or 9.
They're 10 in the coaches poll. They are 10 in the AP, and you're right. They're right behind Alabama at 9 in the college football playoff rank. So their head coach is a guy named Lane Kiffin. He's kind of an offensive guru. His alias is Joey Freshwater, and the guy's normally talking shit, but this week he's kind of coming back with this humble. We got nothing to lose, which is kind of
a little scary.
Yeah, which is scary, right? But maybe it's after the beatdowns that he's taken from Nick Saban, coming in like with all the bluster, maybe it's like it's time to like kind of be like, hey, maybe I'll just kind of,
Yeah, let's try a different tactic here.
Let's see if this works. Okay. I like that though. They've been playing good football. I feel like Georgia is due to lose. It's coming, but it's coming in the SEC championship game.
I hope so.
Oh, it is.
I hope so.
It is. They know it. We know it. The American people know it.
That's right.
But we got to get there first. So, and if they lose to Ole Miss, it could change the balance of what I think is going to happen. So I'm pulling for Georgia.
I was about to say we need Georgia to win.
But 9.5 is a lot of points. I think Georgia's going to win. I just don't know if it's going to be. I don't know about how many. They're going to get beat up at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to be. Ole Miss isn't going to be physical enough. I think they'll do some stuff, but I could see Georgia making adjustments like Alabama did on them.
Yeah,
I'd take Georgia and give up the points.
This is going to be a defense that, at this point in the season, when they played Alabama, that's when Alabama showed up for the first time.
Yeah.
They showed up against USF, but
I know what you mean.
That was the first time they made a statement. I think we've gotten even better on defense since then. So I think this is going to be, again, at this point in the season, this is going to be the best defense that Ole Miss has faced. Offensively, for a whole game, this is going to be the best offense they've faced. They saw Jalen Milroe earlier on in the year, had a rough first half, kind of put it together in the second half, and that's when we pulled away. Just Georgia is a more put-together team this Saturday than we were back then. I think they beat them by 2 touchdowns. I think they're going to eventually shut that offense down, and that Georgia quarterback's strong, man. He's not going to make any mistakes. Get the ball to the right guy, and Ole Miss's defense is not very good, so I think they beat Ole Miss by a couple touchdowns. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. This would be the type of win for them, though. If Ole Miss were to win this football game, it would just be so huge. Like the time, didn't they beat? Lane
get a lifetime contract after this?
Yeah, didn't they beat Florida with TBO, or was that was them, right?
Yeah.
It was them.
Florida. That was TBO made his famous speech after that game.
Did you ever have to make a speech like that?
No.
Wouldn't you love to have a statue, though?
That'd be pretty cool.
It's cool. He's got one of those.
I got my hands in the concrete.
Yeah, that's close enough.
I'll take that.
That's pretty neat.
I wouldn't say close enough, but it's I'll take it.
Well, that's pretty neat. Yeah.
No, that's one of those things I can't wait to show my daughters when they're old enough to understand what it means. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next game.
All right, we got Florida LSU. This is the one I'm having the hardest time with right here.
Well, the problem that you have is that LSU last week played.
Is Jaden Daniels playing this week?
Well, that's what I was going to say. They played a team in Tuscaloosa, and they got beat up pretty good physically. They played good football, but as Brian Kelly said, good wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Did you see him? He said good wasn't good enough. Come in here. You got to be elite.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't play elite. I love that whole thing. It's like, you guys played good.
Yeah.
You guys played good. Everyone on this team, you guys gave your effort. You tried hard.
Yeah.
And then he kind of, is that how it always is in the locker room? And then all of a sudden he's like, but you don't play elite. I was like, okay, I like Brian Kelly. For the record, I do. I like him. I think he's a good coach.
I've had a few teammates, or one teammate at the Cardinals who played for him and said he was something else.
Really?
You know, he's kind of a wild man, which, I mean, you could, his Notre Dame days, he was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty wild on the sideline, but when I saw those recruiting videos of him dancing with those recruiters, I was like, oh,
great moves, man.
Oh,
I think like that's what the kids want. They don't want some guy walking in and sitting down with their family and talking football. They want to dance around a moving stage. I love his accent too. You know, like when you come down south, I mean, you gotta come on down here and you better give us an accent, folks. That's how we talk down here.
They're on a roll. LSU is. Yeah, no, this one I might just flip a coin.
It's like 13 points, right?
14, yeah.
14, and Florida lost a heartbreaking game to Arkansas. And I watched the end of it. Their quarterback, KJ Jefferson, ran through those guys and they tried to jump on him and he swatted them off like a gnat on a fly's ass. and then set up the game-winning walk-off in Florida. Is this Baton Rouge or is this
Baton Rouge?
Baton Rouge. And it's 13. Florida's going to play a good game because they have to. Billy Napier is he. If I'm Florida, there's one guy I'm thinking is going to turn my program around. He wears a cowboy hat and glasses. Got a little bit of a limp. Used to high step. And if I'm them, I'm focused on if this guy doesn't get it done, we're going to go out and we're going to get him. Because the minute that Deion showed up there, as much as you hate it, they're going to be recruiting and people are going to be talking about him.
Hey, I'm pulling for Deion, but man,
they had one win last year.
Yeah, you're right.
They had one win. Like they don't have an offensive line.
They also have about 80 new guys on the team.
They do.
I mean, but this isn't the same team, you know.
Yeah, right. But still, I mean, it takes time, you know. Like you can go out and make all these moves, but it takes time. The fact that we talk about him all the time, and if you need gap coverage and you get injured. He's on there with Nick Saban and that duck.
Goat right in your office.
Yeah. What do you think of this? It's a Buffalo mascot. You know? I think that Florida could jump the line and just say, hey, that it's taken too long, and then all of a sudden be like a team that everybody's paying attention to. My point is that Billy Napier needs a win desperately.
Yeah, if they lose this game, it's gonna be Billy's gonna have a tough time.
I heard Jaden Daniels is practicing at limited practice, and I hope he does. You know, for all of those LSU fans that aren't watching this week, we didn't think that it was a dirty hit by Dallas Turner.
Not at all.
But we respect the hell out of Jaden Daniels. That guy can play some damn football. So don't get those two things confused.
Yeah, he's got a big future ahead of him, and still, I mean, playing for his team that hard. You know, I mean,
yep.
But yeah, to say Dallas Turner's a dirty player. I mean, had he hit him right in the knees, you know, and rolled him up, that's a dirty play. But again,
if he would have leaned into it, if he would have leaned into it and drove him through the grass, it's one thing. He was like putting his weight to the side.
But again, when I first started playing college football,
that was legal.
That was fine. Yeah, I mean, that's what you did on purpose. You know, send a message.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all these hits that are considered dirty now, that was what you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
The hit on Travis Hunter Travis Hunter in that Colorado State game. I mean,
I didn't like that one.
See, but again, you watch Swamp Kings. What's his name? The Major Wright.
Oh yeah.
he hammers that guy from Oklahoma, and he's, even talks about it, which is great. I think it's great. He's like, I wasn't even focused on the ball. I was sending a message.
Yeah.
This guy was done.
Yeah, it reminds me of the time that Florida and Alabama played in the SEC championship game, and the Gators got the interception, and then they got John Menchie. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. John Menchie just wore him out.
That's when you were like, Alabama's not losing. So a message was sent.
Yeah.
And because he had the ball, there is no blind side. So I'm going to take – I guess I would take Florida in that game. That's a tough one too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I'm LSU, your season's on the line now. How do you bounce back after you lose to Alabama?
Well, LSU, a tough road game at Alabama. You kind of feel like you got your heart ripped out of your chest.
Yeah, right.
No more playoff implications, nothing.
Everybody thought you were going to be in the mix for the national championship.
Oh, yeah. You
might be able to beat Georgia. But you know what? There's a difference between good and elite. So LSU's got to win the football game.
Yeah.
I just don't know that they'll cover the spread.
I don't think they've.
It's a big spread.
Yeah, 14.
Florida stinks, but it's a big spread. All right, what's next?
USC, Oregon. You know what the spread is on this one?
USC and Oregon, no.
16.5.
Whoa.
Which makes me think Oregon's got to be right. Which tells me Vegas knows that USC has fallen apart.
They've quit. Well, the one thing I want to say is it's okay to cry when you're frustrated. I think we all have been there before. It just sucks when you do it on national television. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because it just sends that message that it's not even like how emotional you are. It's shit's falling apart and I can't fix it. Yeah. That's how it felt to me. It wasn't like, hey, the guy's crying. I mean, he's a great football player. And we've all been there, Yeah.
Well, you like the Tim Tebow crying after the SEC championship. I hated to see it for him, but I drank his tears.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm just kidding. I love Tebow because I told you I love him because of that.
It's very well timed.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I was at the game.
But at least, that cry was like, I get it. It's your senior season and
you didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
Well, you were the first one to really get Sabaned.
Yeah.
They played a perfect game.
Yeah, there was just nothing they could do.
No, it was a perfect game because that Florida team was great.
Yeah.
Except they got a guy running around getting a DUI, the day before, 2 days before. That was the first time where I was like, Alabama's going to win because they're not focused.
Yeah.
And Alabama is very focused.
Mm-hmm.
They're two juggernauts. They were two juggernauts.
Well, when you got a team coached by Coach Saban, I can't, if Coach Saban went somewhere else, in that year 3, the hunger, I can't even imagine. When I was a senior, we hadn't won a national championship since 2011, I think. Was it 2012 or 2011?
Well, Alabama. It would have been this one. Let me put this up here so everybody can see it.
Yeah, that was 2012. Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, 2012, yeah.
So 13, 14, we hadn't won one in 2 years. And
Eddie Lacy.
And you would have thought, with the focus and intensity of those practices and bowl weeks that Alabama had never won a national championship. Nobody was doing anything but practice football. Yeah. That was it. I cannot imagine what it was like in that 09 season, when we hadn't won one yet. It's like you said, Mike said the goal in 08 was to win an SEC championship. They did it. And then they elevated their goals in 09.
Yeah.
And that was it. I can't imagine the level of focus that year.
Oh yeah. I was texting him today. I said, we used to work together and I was like, man, I was texting. I can't, because we made a open from one of my shows and he's in a lot of those because we worked together. I was like, we had some good times and I never heard back from him. Maybe I had some good times. Maybe it's just me. We found you in a picture with us. We threw that in there. We're like, all right, there you go. Throw that in the oven. Who would have known we'd be doing this?
Yeah.
Just going through looking.
You had that clean cut going too.
Yeah,
back then.
yeah. It's coming back. I'm getting my hair cut next week, and when I return, could be clean
like
cut.
a real haircut, or
like
trim,
you. I'm
like
gonna look just like you.
I hear you.
I will see. I go in there, and then my guy's like, I don't know if you should do that. Yeah, you don't want to cut all your flow. But honestly, I'm kind of like to that point now where I'm like,
I can't stand it when my hair gets long.
You had long hair in college.
Oh, I know, but that's because I cut my own hair back then.
It was like rock star hair or something. You cut your own hair? Did you have the Flowbee?
It was like I don't give a shit hair is what it was.
Yeah. Hunting hair.
Yeah.
Good hair for the woods, right?
Yes. It's amazing. My wife married me.
I think they like the long hair. But people, I'll say this, and this is definitely digressing. Are we done with all the games, or is there any more games?
Well, we never picked USC Oregon.
Okay, I'm taking Oregon. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think I am too.
You can't take USC after that.
That many points.
They're all losing. There's holes in the ship.
Yeah,
it was like that time that you were the captain of that big ass boat, and everybody was like, "Man, I see a lot of ice out there," and you were like, "Nah, we got this." This boat is unsinkable. Yeah. Well, it feels a lot like that right now. Yeah. Maybe instead of you, it's Riley.
Yeah,
He's that guy.
Yeah. Lincoln's going down with it.
Everybody's like, okay, now what did we pay this guy for again? All right. So what was I okay, hair. This is a total digress. But I'm going to tell everybody about this because it's true. So when you have say you rock like long hair, and if you get a little bit of facial hair and you go out on the streets, people talk to you that normally don't talk to you, right? Like it's
I can't grow anything but like a Fu Manchu.
Okay, well if you did, say you just went like beard, scruffy type guy look, you'll be like in the store. And like that guy that's normally like you're locking your door, and he's holding you know what I'm saying? Like you're in your car, you're like, oh shit, like beep. He's like opening the door for you. He's
afraid you're gonna rob him.
No, well, yeah, he might be like he was probably thinking the same thing. I'll be nice to this guy. And then when you have short hair, it's like a different group of people like you, and a different group of people don't like you. But the craziest is that I went mustache. Really, I honestly I was impressed by the mustache this summer. Like just a couple weeks, and what I did was first time in my life, I went full goatee, and then when it grew out, I just trimmed away, and I had the stash, and I'd heard this before. And so I'm educating everyone on the football show. 9 out of 10 women didn't like it, but that 10th, you were very popular. And you could tell, it was like, there's the people that like mustaches, they damn love it. You should do it one time just to see. It would be like, you would just be in line somewhere. I was at
that ratio makes sense.
10%. Yeah.
1 in 10.
But it wasn't just a little bit. It was when people just go out of their way for you too much.
Yeah,
that's the 10%.
Well, if you're the kind of guy that's willing to wear a mustache around, you're probably there for a good time.
Is that what that tells you?
You're not going to say no to much.
Is that what a good stash tells you?
Yeah.
I think honestly, I wouldn't call mine a good stash.
Yeah,
it was okay.
You're either like the guy that everybody loves to hang out with because you're a really fun time. That guy you referenced in Vegas that had the sign that said "Kick me in the nuts."
Let me for those that haven't been hanging on the Elephant in the Room podcast, and I know that there are. My wife showed me a video of Terry Saban, Nick's wife, and his daughter cheering at a football game, right?
I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah.
Great.
And I'm watching, and where Saban lacks sometimes probably like the self-awareness, his wife gives it to him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Miss Terry's like. She is such a big part of this. I mean, that's what I was telling Stephanie. I was like, look, the thing that is overlooked in this whole like success that Coach Saban's having is that his wife is able to fill in those areas that he is blind in, and he's smart enough to listen.
Did you see him? Did you see what he said?
You know what I mean by that? No?
Oh, yeah. Did you see what I think he said yesterday? He said as he wakes up Sunday and Miss Terry is like, man, it's going to be tough to go and play Auburn at Auburn. That's going to be a tough game. And he's like, what are you talking about? We got Kentucky this week.
Yeah.
We got Kentucky, then we got whoever it is, then we got Auburn. He's like, we're focused on Kentucky. What's wrong with you? He's like, I had to keep her in check.
Yeah, he does.
Somebody said Miss Terry's playing chess, not checkers.
There's been times where I've like been on shows and I've criticized Coach, and it's never like really real criticism. I told you my aunt got on me and my uncle because I thought that Tua needed to be out of that Mississippi State game where he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I was pretty hard on him because I thought,
like the pro throw,
get him
Florida game,
the F out of the game. And I was saying it up until that week, and I just knew from people that I knew that he was having a tough time walking, and I thought he needed to be out of the game.
Yeah,
you could have won with Matt, right? But that's not the way that Saban does business. And I made that point, and you would have thought that I dishonored the family. Realize that you keep it very. I was a little too direct with that.
Yeah.
I should have just implied that maybe
there's a standard he's had with that.
My own family.
Like, oh yeah,
like my own family. Like, okay, well, all I'm saying is I love him, but maybe this could have been better. This is his best coaching job. This is it. Sorry. 2015 was great, but this is better.
Here's the thing.
You guys
about
are better
though.
than these guys.
Here's the thing, though. I think that he just knows. He knows what he's got in his. It's like holding a flush. He just knows what he's got. And this whole time, I think he's just been laughing at the media, like everybody just we're gonna be all right.
You think so?
Put the cards back down. And
he loves this though. This is what this is.
There's
no rat
team.
poison with these guys.
Oh yeah, the underdog.
That's
team.
why I don't think they're going to go in and get beat. I don't think they're going to.
No, I don't think they're getting beat.
But I don't even think they're going to play shitty football. No. I think they're going to go in and dominate because.
I hope so. I hope so. No, I mean, honestly, I think
11, and you're going to be like when it's like 25 in the third.
They should
running the damn ball.
No, they should. What I'm saying is, it just worries me that it's Kentucky at Kentucky because young guys not understanding the importance of the game. Well, I say that. I mean, hell, I don't know. Sometimes things just happen. We played Arkansas. We should have beat Arkansas. Should have beat Tennessee by a lot, but it felt like
that Tennessee team was good.
Well, when
Josh Dobbs, the guy's been in the NFL ever since he's been out of college.
But when things don't go your way, and it seems like it's just like every single thing you do is just not being the ball. Ball may be a little off here, got a guy here, and the guy gets a lucky tip, or I just, you fear that one of those games, and usually it happens at Auburn. I mean, as you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that's really what I'm worried about. Just a bunch of things not going our way, and we end up, playing them closer than we should.
Okay. Wow.
But that's like a 20% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we still win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We still win.
But there's, I've told you this story right before we played Tennessee. We haven't had that 2-minute drive to win the game yet. We hadn't had one yet this year. But one's coming. Gotta be. I mean,
please don't say that.
The worries.
Let's get it in the play.
How many games? Maybe 2020 was only a year. That was a weird year, but how many seasons in Saban's career have there been without one 2-minute drive to win a game against an unranked opponent?
Yeah, I don't know.
or just a range
I
opponent.
can sit here and name them though. Like 2000, what was it? 2000. What was the year where Smitty had the catch to beat Mississippi State when they had
That
Dan
was
Mullen?
2018, I think.
Okay.
2018.
2017. It was this champ. No, it was that championship year. Because then he caught the ball to beat them in the championship game. Georgia.
That's right.
So
2018 was it LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jalen scored, ran it in like a few seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I think we just blew everybody out.
Yeah. With Florida, it was a tough game in the championship game.
2014 or 2015, we barely beat Tennessee, 2-minute drive. 2014,
great game.
Barely beat, overtime against LSU, and then we barely beat Arkansas. 2013, was that the year that AJ threw the screen pass to TJ?
Might have been. My son was little. Yeah, it was because he was 2, and I was holding him, and I started running around the house, and I thought I might kill him. He's like this, running around the house. Teaches the football. And he liked it. He loved it.
Jesus, these next 16 years.
Yeah. I don't even think he even understands. He's in middle school. I don't even think he gets like how much we love football.
Yeah.
Like our whole life's football. Like Saturday, like, I like this Saturday no, it's next Saturday. Next Saturday, there's a funeral and I can't get to it. And I would love to. But man, I mean, what we do is this, and my friend would appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like he would. They're getting the video because we have to do that.
I heard the most.
It's terrible. It sounds terrible, but it's not.
The most fall weddings in Alabama were the bye week. 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's like, "I'll take that." Just give me the other one.
It's funny as you go to a wedding. Like for some reason, I swear there's every year.
It's not a funeral; it's a memorial service. So different.
That's right. It should be a celebration.
Yeah.
I hope mine's a celebration.
Are you getting buried? You know how everybody these days ends up like in the furnace? Don't furnace me. I've already let the word out.
Furnace me.
You want to furnace?
Put me in the.
God, we're on the burner. We're on different ends of this.
I don't want to wake up in that coffin.
You want if you go in that furnace?
That's right.
Like spread your ashes out on Mobile Bay.
Bury the ashes somewhere.
Third turn at Talladega. Prop you up at the mullet toss.
Throw fish at me.
By everyone around. That's one of the greatest songs ever written about this state. You gotta love Raleigh Green.
Oh yeah. No, he's great. Have you ever met him?
No, but I'd love to.
I've never met him either. He's
when I heard
one
he was
of
an
Big
Auburn
Earl's
guy.
buddies.
Yeah, is he?
Played, yeah, he's one of Big Earl's really good buddies.
Yeah,
from what I hear.
I know. Like the last time he was coming, they tipped me off.
Yeah, we'll have to.
And I said, "Don't tip me off if I've got baseball and I can't go."
Yeah,
because then you know what happens? I'm miserable doing baseball. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, and the bottom of the third inning, and I'm really thinking like, man. is Raleigh spinning the wheel? Don't do that to me. Or Kenny Chesney pops
he'd
in.
have to spin that wheel. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Man, I saw him at the, what is the place? It's not the Sanger. Is it the one the place in downtown Mobile on Dolphin Street?
Steeple.
The little.
Well, there's a Sanger. Oh, you're talking about
the music
Soul Kitchen.
Yes,
yeah.
I saw him at Soul Kitchen years ago.
Yeah, I was there last week. Saw Larry Fleet.
Okay, who's that?
He's a up and coming country guy. Yeah, pretty damn good too.
Well, I saw up and coming Riley Green.
He played quarterback at
UAB.
No,
that was
that's the other guy,
Sam Hunt.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yep.
Well, you know what that tells me? You better get that guitar out and start working. I mean, look. You're missing your calling, man. I would love to be the guy that introduces Jake Coker in the band. Have you seen LT get on stage with Big Earl? Have you seen those videos? He gets up there. He doesn't even like country, but he gets up there and sings.
I saw.
It's pretty good.
I remember I was there because I played golf with Jim and Ryan, and I remember I was getting a drink at the upstairs bar, and I looked down, and LT. I mean, Big Earl's playing. God knows what, and I see LT over there, singing the words or trying to. He's on the side stage, just getting after it.
We should do that. I think I heard him say that he knows like 3 country songs. So
he doesn't strike me as a country kind of guy.
No. He's fun to hang out with, though.
I bet he's like a 90s pop kind of guy or 90s rap kind of guy.
Yeah, he likes 90s rap, yeah.
I bet he was all over that Tupac story.
I bet. And this is the thing, we're in overtime right now, by the way, just to let you know. This show's going to overtime. When you and I, and I'm doing my tailgate.
We can start talking conspiracy theories.
Well,
now.
we can. We've hit everything football. I'm doing my tailgate show there on Friday, and when I said I was doing it, their response was, "Well, ask Jake if he wants to come." And I knew you were hunting. I knew it. I told him. I said he's probably hunting somewhere. So I don't want to take you out of the woods. But when those guys come to town and they do their show that Friday before the Army-Navy, and we need to come and we need to do the show right after them and bring them on. And
what date is that?
I don't know. Let me see if I'll try to figure it out.
That's the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's the weekend after the SEC championship game.
Okay, so it's 12-14 or somewhere around there. Yeah.
So that Friday.
Okay.
And it would be fun to get them on our show.
Oh yeah.
And ask them what we want to know.
That's right. That's right.
But like right off the bat, let's do a round of shots just to get, whoever's coming on with us loose.
Get Jim going.
Oh yeah. I love to get Jim. It'd be so much fun. How would we direct them though? Because I love their show. I do watch it or listen to it pretty much every day. They do a great job. And it is a pleasure to be part of this. I had a guy today say to me, I was wearing their hat, and he's like, man, I was thinking about you. I saw these guys, and they were wearing those hats on their podcast, and I was like, yeah, I think that's the same group that I'm with.
That's right.
They were talking college football. I was like, yeah, that's probably
that's like these.
You know what I mean? But being down here,
Oh yeah. When I first got back from playing in Alabama, I'd be playing football. I'd be somewhere in Mobile. I remember I got lunch with my grandmother one day back in Atlanta. There's an Atlanta Bread in Mobile, or there was. It's closed now, but I was walking to that parking lot, and some lady rode up to me, and she goes, "Are you Jake Coker?" And I was like, "Nah, it's not me. Not this time." She goes, "Golly, you look just like Jake Coker." And I was like, "Yep, I get that all the time." I mean, at that point, I was like, I'm trying to avoid all that, but it was so fun. I used to mess with people so bad.
I was on a bus. I spent a year with a guy named Ryan Sandberg, or Rhino. You ever heard of him before? He played second base for the Cubs. Sandberg. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And we were in Jacksonville, and he was the manager of the team, so he sat in the front of the bus. And we're all packed up on the bus, ready to get the hell out of there. And some guy comes running and knocks on the door of the bus, gets on the bus. And he looks at Rhino and he goes, "Hey, is Ryan Sandberg on this bus?" And Rhino goes, "Nah, he's not on this bus." He's like, "Okay," and he gets no. That's a fucking classic. Oh man, I love Rhino.
That's what I was in the Floribama one night, and it was me and a bunch of high school buddies, and I had one buddy with me. I guess if you were really hammered, you'd think we look alike, but he's about 2 or 3 inches shorter than me. This guy comes up and he starts asking me, he's like, did you play at Alabama? I go through the whole thing, and he goes, are you Jake Coker? I was like, no, that's not me. That's actually Jake Coker. And and he's like, are you serious? He's like, can we take a picture? I was like, yeah, give me your phone. I'll take a picture. So one of my high school buddies pretended to be me, and I'm taking the picture. We shoot that to each other all the time.
That's
so
pretty
funny.
That is pretty funny. What's that? Life must be crazy when you go everywhere and people know who you are. Like it's just got to be like such a like when we would go places with Rhino, he didn't want to ever go hang out with us. Like we'd be like, all right, we're going to the bar, and then we go to the bar, and like weird people we didn't know would like slide into our table. You know what I mean? Like he'd make a joke, and then you'd hear like somebody way over here laughing. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing over here?
It was crazy when I first moved back, but now it's, heck, I'm so involved with Mobile that I feel like I'm from here. I know it's still kind of a small town feel, even though it's getting to be a bigger city in Mobile and Alabama. But
you got to have the right personality, and it's not mine, but you got to have the right personality to kind of like, handle all that stuff. And I when I did baseball with Chris Stewart, we would leave the stadium and like he would talk to every single person. And I'd be like, God, dude, like I'm trying to like if all the crowd's here, I'm going all the way around here and getting out of there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's something I respect about him so much is like he just has a different personality. Like he really cares to like get to know every single person and sit there and listen to all of the stories and stuff. And it's like,
no, I'll mess with people,
you know like what I mean by
like
that. It's not
but I'm never.
What do you say?
I mean, most of the time it's people bringing up stories and we talk and I'll end up having something to talk about because they remember certain things and we'll talk about it. But I enjoy it. I really do. I mean, there's times where I'm like, guys, I don't have time. I got to leave. But
how are people?
I'm not going to be mean to somebody.
I don't mean being mean. I'm going to tell you what.
At the end of the day, I appreciate people coming up and telling me certain things and all that. So I enjoy it, really.
I guess what I'm saying is like, I feel like when people know me, I feel awkward. Like I'm always afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing. Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they're like, oh, whatever, and it's like, oh, like sometimes you connect with people and sometimes you don't. And it's like, you're thinking in your mind, like, okay, like Harry Carey's the best example of he's why I wanted to do play-by-play. I loved Harry Carey. Right. And when Rhino and the Hawk, Andre Dawson, and all of those guys talk about being a Cub, they're like, Harry was the guy. Yeah. He'd go into a bar and get to know every freaking person in the bar. Yeah. Where are you from? I'm from so-and-so. Like, you know what I mean? Like it takes a special person to be able to connect with people like that. And I guess just to me, like, I'm always afraid, like, man, what if I don't connect with somebody, or you're thinking about something else that you got to do, and it's like when you're kind of getting like talked to all the time, I don't know. And I'm not saying it like for me, it's anything like you, but I'm just saying like when it has happened, it's like, but oh man, what do I do here?
Yeah, I don't really worry about it too much. I mean, I guess when, like, obviously if I'm talking to a lady and her kids, I'm like trying to set a good example and all that. If I run into a guy in a bar, I mean, I'm going to shoot the shit with him and make jokes and
do you send them corn dogs?
I will send them. If they got purple and gold on, they're getting corn dogs
for their free beers. Oh man. Well, it's definitely
that's what I was watching the LSU game, the Alabama LSU game with my grandfather-in-law, and he's a big LSU guy.
Oh no.
And
oh boy.
I was watching with my grandfather-in-law and my father-in-law, we had my brother-in-law's birthday, and so I'm, sitting there, and that horse collar happens.
Yeah.
I say horse collar when Jaden Daniels got pulled down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a horse collar, and he's like, give me a break, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
I can't watch it with enemies. I can't watch the games with
I can
enemies.
watch it with him. He's
not me.
My grandfather-in-law's hilarious.
Not coming over. Now I'll come over, but not against LSU. I told you about. I went to a party here at Fairhope, and the Auburn fans showed up. It was the Iron Bowl where we won in 4 overtimes.
Yeah,
we're playing like shit, and then they're like, the one, she's like, oh, I don't really watch football. It's like, I heard Saban's retiring. Hasn't he lost it? Like, I'm like trying to be. In my mind, I'm like, I got to get out of here. Halftime, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, I got my cooler over there. I got but I don't want to make a scene, And then I realized that I just got to watch with Alabama people.
See, I'm there just for the having fun. I mean, when it gets serious, I'll start watching. I watched that whole game. Now that we're doing the podcast, I try to watch pretty intently.
Right.
But when I'm sitting there watching my grandpa-in-law, some of the stuff he says is so damn funny. It's I mean, it's just it adds to the
right. If did he congratulate you after the win?
I think he got out of there before.
No, he did.
Yeah,
He's like me.
I think he avoided.
He's like me. I would have done the same thing. So now I like him because I'm out of there. I don't want to be affected so much by this, but I'm affected by it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. He's an LSU guy. My uncle-in-law is an LSU guy, and my father-in-law is an Alabama guy.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, me and my father-in-law give them hell about LSU.
Yeah.
But they tell us our time's coming. Which it
is.
It eventually will.
It is, but I'm going to tell you right now. I guess this is kind of where we ended, but when Dabo gets in here, he's going to be ready to take it to another level.
Oh yeah.
Dabo.
I just hope the Clemson
Dabo's
fans
going to be ready.
Keep showing very little appreciation for him.
Come on home, baby. When it's time, do your thing right now, and when it's time. I'm telling every Alabama fan right now, don't look at Dan Lanning and these other guys. Look at the guy that's won the 2 national championships over us and comes into our state and takes 5-star players. Loves
and maybe
this
with
program.
This dip in performance, he's kind of thinking, all right, maybe I do need to change.
He does. You know how
he definitely does.
Yeah.
Again, this is his first time experiencing a lot of success, and now there's some adversity there, and he's got to figure it out. Yeah. Which I'm glad he's figuring it out at Clemson before he comes to Alabama.
But he's going to do okay.
Yeah.
Whether people want to believe it or not, he's one of us. He just took our formula to McDowell's. You know McDowell's? It's the same that they just don't have sesame seeds on the bun. Okay. It's the same thing.
But I will say this, and I've said this before, but walk-ons who earn scholarships in college football programs, that's a special. I'd hire that guy all day long. Me too,
man. I'm with you, brother.
I would hire that guy all day long.
All right. Well, next week I'm going to be in the mountains of Tennessee. Now, I'm not saying I'm not doing the show. We're just not going to be able to do it in here.
Oh yeah.
So we're
going
to
week after that.
You're going to
be gone.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a lot of deer hunting, and I'll give the audience some updates on.
Okay. We're going to do it. We're doing it. It just might not be. It's just not going to be in here.
I may have a pretty nice background behind me.
I can't wait to see it. I bet you mine's going to be better than yours, though. We'll see if I got a spot with internet. But if it's anything like last staff retreat that I went on up there, these are amazing cabins with enormous views of the Smoky Mountains.
This is North Carolina?
No,
you're going
Smoky
to
Mountains.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
okay,
Gatlinburg. Yeah. But we will not let the audience down. We just can't. We've come too far from when we first started.
That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. Well, Roll Tide. We'll figure it out for next week, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Alabama and Kentucky. We gave you our thoughts. He's Jake Coker, and I'm Mick Gillispie. And again, guys, don't forget MyBookie. It's a place that you can go and you can make some cash, and you can do it with your great picks. And right now, as you do this, 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Take advantage of that. MyBookie.ag. Get some help at Lance's Lock and lanceslock.com. And we'll talk to you guys after this next game. But make sure that you like and subscribe. We want to hear from you. Love the by the way, love the comments.
Oh, I love the comments.
Love them.
Give us some more direction, too. What do you want to hear?
Yeah. What
do you want to see?
Yeah, right.
Ryan's coming back, too, by the way.
Yeah, he is. We love Ryan. Ryan makes it it's a different show when Ryan's here.
It is. I
love him. He honestly reminds me of the guys I grew up with. Like, I just have a connection with him. Like, you're right. He comes in, it's like, I feel like I've known him my whole life.
Complete honesty. You get what you
get. He's so funny.
My kind of guy.
Me too. And then when he reminds me I'm right about Jalen Miller, told you. So yeah. But it was. I wasn't thinking Ford rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe 2.
I mean, you proved your point.
Anyway, guys, make sure you keep the comments coming, and thank you for being here. This is Elephant in the Room, part of Roll Tide Pods, and we're disrupting the media.